I grew up in a palace wrapped in fine linens taught by the wisest men in Egypt. To the world, I was a prince, but inside, I was a stranger. I knew I didn't belong. I lived between two worlds, one of power and privilege, the other of suffering and silence. That conflict, it burned in me, until one day it exploded and I ran. I am Moses, and this is Exodus. The sun beat down on the meticulously manicured gardens of the Pharaoh's palace, the air thick with the scent of jasmine and the murmur of unseen fountains. I remember the feel of the cool marble beneath my bare feet, the silken texture of my robes, the taste of sweet dates and honeyed wine. This was my world, a world of privilege and ease, a world crafted from gold and ivory, from shimmering silks and the attentive service of countless slaves. But even within these gilded walls, a shadow lingered, a disquiet that gnawed at my heart. I was raised as a prince, the son of Pharaoh's daughter, a life of unimaginable luxury afforded to few. My days were filled with lessons in statecraft and warfare, in the arts of writing and horsemanship. I learned the intricacies of the Egyptian pantheon, the rituals and ceremonies that governed our lives, and I reveled in the power that was my birthright. Yet I felt strangely detached, an outsider even within my own family. The whispers started subtly, like the rustling of papyrus in a gentle breeze. They spoke of a people, a different people held captive in the land of Egypt, their bodies bent under the weight of forced labor, their spirits crushed by the tyranny of our rule. These were the Israelites, a people whose very existence was a blemish on the otherwise flawless tapestry of Egyptian might. At first, these whispers were nothing more than background noise, a distant hum against the symphony of my privileged existence. I would catch glimpses of them, lean, sun-baked figures, their movements slow and weary, their faces etched with the pain of unending toil. They worked in the fields under the relentless Egyptian sun, their backs bowed under the weight of bricks and mortar, their cries muffled by the distance. Their presence was a constant, almost unnoticed reality, the silent undercurrent beneath the gilded surface of my life. But as I grew, the whispers grew louder, the glimpses more frequent, the dissonance within my heart more profound. I began to seek them out, drawn by an inexplicable force, a pull that defied logic and reason. I would slip away from the palace, escaping the watchful eyes of my tutors and guards, venturing into the outskirts of the city. There I would find them, the Israelites, toiling relentlessly in the brickyards, their faces smudged with dust and sweat, their hands raw and bleeding. I would stand in the shadows, my heart heavy with a grief I couldn't quite comprehend. Their suffering was not an abstract concept, a figure in a ledger book. It was a palpable presence, a physical ache that vibrated in the air and the very dust beneath my feet. The contrast was unbearable. The opulence of my palace against the stark poverty of their existence, my comfortable life against the unending misery of their enslavement. The beauty of the palace gardens, once a source of endless delight, now felt like a mockery, a cruel reminder of the injustice that prevailed outside its walls. The laughter of my siblings and playmates echoed hollowly, a dissonant note against the silent cries of the enslaved. I couldn't reconcile the two worlds, the stark difference between my pampered existence and the harsh reality faced by the Israelites. My nights were haunted by images of their suffering. I dreamt of their despair, of their tears, of their silent prayers. I would wake up in a cold sweat, my heart racing, the weight of their suffering pressing down upon me. The once pristine comfort of my bed felt heavy, stifling, as if the very linens were stained with their tears. I began to question everything I had been taught, everything I had come to believe. Was it right to live in such luxury while others suffered so greatly? Was it just to revel in privilege while they endured endless hardship? The answer, a resounding no, echoed within my soul, growing stronger with each passing day. It was a conflict that tore at the fabric of my being, threatening to unravel the very foundation of my identity. I was a prince of Egypt, born into a life of power and privilege. Yet within my heart I felt a deep connection with these enslaved people, a bond formed not through blood or kinship, but through the shared humanity that transcended the boundaries of race, culture, and social standing. The lush gardens of the palace, once a sanctuary of peace and beauty, now felt like a prison, confining me to a world of privilege and hypocrisy. The contrast between my life and theirs was a constant source of torment, a festering wound that refused to heal. The opulence was suffocating, the ease unbearable, the gilded cage inescapable. The questions plagued me relentlessly. Was this my destiny? Was I meant to live a life of comfort while others suffered? Was I to remain silent, a passive observer to the injustice that unfolded before my very eyes? Or was there something more, something greater that I was meant to do? This gnawing uncertainty, this inner turmoil became the crucible in which my identity was forged, shaping the path that led me away from the palace walls and toward a destiny I could scarcely imagine. It was a journey that would ultimately force me to confront not only the Pharaoh, but also the deepest recesses of my own soul. And in that confrontation, I would discover a calling that would change the course of history,